Hello and welcome to another episode of Weekly Waypoint, where today we are participating in gladiatorial combat. This is Assassin's Creed Origins, and I thought we'd take a trip to Crocodilopolis, I think I said that correctly, to do some arena challenges because I need to do those for an achievement, and I just want to kind of celebrate the fact that I recently completed, or at least the main story of Assassin's Creed Origins. Don't worry, I won't be talking story spoilers. Also, this is just the kind of gameplay I never tend to include because it's like, you know, what kind of gameplay are you going to include from a single player game? It turns out arena stuff pretty decent. In fact, we did have an episode like this, didn't we? We did Ratchet and Clank free, I think it was. Was it free? I think it was free. Or was it 2? It might have been 2. Actually, it was 2. But obviously Assassin's Creed Origins is a bit more historically charged, a bit more realistic and brutal, so hope you don't mind all the killing. There's a fair bit of it. I cut out a lot of the kind of showboating, grandstanding stuff and loading screens and stuff like that, so if it seems like Bayek's not getting a chance to rest between fights, rest assured, he actually is. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Origins, that's a game that I got in 2018, about a year after it launched. If I remember right, I was curious about it beforehand, but when Odyssey was announced, that's when I really got excited. I was like, oh, I'm going to go buy Assassin's Creed Origins right now and play through that, and then play through Odyssey. Funny enough, I actually have a Platinum Trophy in Odyssey, but I never got more than around halfway through Assassin's Creed Origins' main story. I was around level 25 on PC, and then when I got it on Xbox later on, I was around level 25 when I kind of gave up, took a break, that kind of thing. But then I came back recently with the 60 frames a second patch and everything. I just thought it might be a good idea to come back and finish Assassin's Creed Origins. And I did, and I'm really happy about it. I'm going to try and get every achievement. I've decided something regarding achievements, by the way, but we'll get into that in a minute. But specifically for this game, I am going to try and get every achievement, and I'm also obviously going to be doing the DLCs next. I don't know if I'm going to stick to trying to get every achievement in a vanilla game before starting the DLC. That's what I did for Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I feel like I did less stuff on the way through the story this time around. I used the level boost that the DLC gives you to skip all of the, well, not all of them, but to skip a fair chunk of the side questing, because Ubisoft RPGs are not very good in terms of pacing and forcing you to go and do side contents. Try and, you know, entice you into buying the time saver boosts and all that, so that's unfortunate, but at least in Origins, if you bought the DLCs, you get a level boost to skip that stuff, and it's not designed to skip that stuff either. Like, the game will be like, oh, congratulations, you're ready to go and take on the first DLC, and I'm like, nope, that's not why I boosted. But yeah, while we're talking about Assassin's Creed, I will mention that I finally completed my collection here on Xbox. I do own some of these titles on other platforms, but there's pretty much always been a reason for me to get them again on Xbox, either because they've been remastered, or because I can play them in a higher frame rate over here. You know, that kind of thing. But with the latest Xbox sale, I bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey Ultimate Edition on Xbox, because that comes with Assassin's Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed Liberation HD. And interestingly, I know I have it physically on PS4, and I bought the DLCs individually that way. So I don't know what the Ultimate Edition really gives you. Well, I know it gives you a temporary boost to money and XP, which I find so hilarious. Like, it's a single player game, what are you afraid of? Just let it be a permanent boost? I don't know. I wonder how long it's going to last. Is it like, oh, it only lasts for 2 hours, in which case that's really fucking stupid? Or is it going to be like until you hit level 20 or something? I don't know. I just hope it lets me, because Odyssey had it worse with the pacing, forcing you to go and do side quests. But I'm not going to play Odyssey anytime soon. I mainly grabbed that A, to complete my collection, and B, to get Assassin's Creed 3 and Liberation HD. You may recall a while ago I mentioned I was going to be doing a stream through of Assassin's Creed, and I got through one part and stopped. The thing that stopped me is I missed a conversation with Lucy, which is something you need for an achievement in that game. There we go, I looped it back around. And basically I had to restart from scratch, or just play through it and then do an entire second playthrough if I wanted to get all the achievements, because I would have missed that one, and that kind of put me off. But I've had a little think, and I remember how the achievements look in Assassin's Creed Brotherhood in terms of getting full synchronization on stuff, which isn't something I really want to do either, and I've realized I think what I want to do for the earlier Assassin's Creed games that aren't set in a giant RPG is try and get every achievement within reason. I'm going to try and normalize for myself the idea of, you know, trying to get as many achievements in a game as possible, because I like the achievement hunting, I like getting the points and stuff like that, but not necessarily forcing myself to perfect games if they've got really irksome, bothersome achievements. Like I know later games like Assassin's Creed Black Flag will have multiplayer achievements that I will literally need to go on the forums and ask someone to help me boost if the servers are even still online. So yeah, I think I'd have a lot more fun just like being like, okay, and those are all the achievements I plan on getting in this game, you know, like this is complete to me. And then when I'm looking through achievement lists later on down the line, I can be like, I can see the score and be like, oh, it's pretty high. Like I don't just have to be like, oh, I can't perfect this game, I'm giving up on getting any extra achievements, because, you know, I like achievement hunting. So yeah, I know I'm doing a Crash Bandicoot 2 stream through right now. My current plans are to finish that up and then maybe continue the Assassin's Creed original game stream through on my live stream. And you'll be able to catch the VODs on my live stream channel, which I talked all about in that update video the other day. But yeah, I don't plan to go into Odyssey after I've completed everything I want to do in Origins, mainly because I am aware that I'm going to want to stream through it as part of that long stream through series, and it's going to be weird playing Origins. I would say so close on the back of having just played it, but let's be real, I'm probably not going to get to Origins for like at least a year or so in terms of streaming through all the games. But either way, I'm going to hold off on Odyssey, I think. But I am probably going to get back into Valhalla just for playing in my spare time and making videos and stuff. Oh, by the way, there's an Assassin's Creed Adventures in Ancient Egypt, I think I called it, video coming out tomorrow. No, yesterday. Fuck, times are weird. So yeah, it's nice to finally have a full Assassin's Creed collection in one place, even if it is digitally, and as we know with what they've done with Assassin's Creed Liberation, the original version on Steam, that shit can be temporary. Probably the stupidest franchise to have done this with digitally, gotta admit, but here we are. The only franchise in history to have a precedent of removing versions of a game from people's libraries. Yeah, that's the one I went on collecting every single digital version of. I'm so clever. Hey, mid-video hydration check. I'm uploading this on the hottest day, potentially on British record. Are you hydrated? Are your pets hydrated? Say that like you can make them drink water. You can lead a dog to water, but you can't make it drink. In other news, small comics update. I have been continuing my read-through of the Volume 2 of Daredevil, which is the 1999 onwards, and I finally got to the very much recommended Brian Michael Bendis run. I forget what the artist's name is, I apologise, but he's the writer on that, and that's the one that's like a very highly recommended comic in the Daredevil universe. And I gotta say, I'm like maybe 4 issues into that storyline right now, and yeah, this is the good shit. This is the one that makes me just want to keep going on to the next issue, and the next issue, and the next issue. Probably more than 4 issues in, actually, now that I think about it. Unfortunately, Marvel Unlimited has actually been having some issues lately. Like, I literally can't read comics right now. There's, when I try and load up any pages, you just get the Hydra symbol, which basically just is their cute way of saying, oh yeah, we can't load this page right now, sorry. And while it was fine yesterday, the day before it was down pretty much all day, so I don't know what's going on with their service. They don't usually have issues, so I'm not exactly mad. Honestly, it could be a case of like the amount of heat that's going on in the world right now, their service could have just be fucking melting or something. I can't imagine it takes a lot of server processing in order to host a bunch of PNG images, but what do I know? Either way, hopefully it's back up and running again soon, because, I mean, I like these comics. I've just got to the really good part, and I can't continue. Maybe I will go and get DC Universe Infinite, or whatever the stupid name is. It's so weird that they called it DC Universe when they literally have an MMO called DC Universe. Who's in charge of SEO at DC? I just want to talk. You have some interesting ideas. So at the end of last week's video, I very briefly mentioned that I discovered David Tennant's podcast, which is basically a podcast where he interviews various, usually actors. For some reason, there's a ex-prime minister on there, in the form of Gordon Brown, which actually I would say is one of the more interesting episodes. But yeah, I came for David Tennant. Phrasing. I tuned in for David Tennant. I stayed for all of the life stories. So basically, I've been wanting to get into reading like autobiographies and stuff like that for a few years now, and I just never have. This isn't the same thing at all, but incidentally, I did find this podcast by searching for David Tennant in Audible to see if he had an autobiography, and instead I found his podcast. But yeah, what's really struck me about listening to these episodes is just like, this is kind of what I wanted out of seeking autobiographies. Like, I'm basically hearing a whole bunch of people's life stories, and it's super fascinating. Like, fascinating in the same way that I'm fascinated with history. I think I've got like a new interest brewing here. Now, obviously it's a little bit skewed because most of these guys are actors, most of these guys are successful and famous and have achieved their life dreams. And if I'm being honest, if I listen to too many episodes in a row, I do get a little bit like, well, look at their life and then look at mine. But most of them are like really interesting to listen to. It's super, I'm going to keep using the word interesting. It's a boring word, but I promise you, it's accurate. It's super interesting to hear these life stories of all of these different people of different ages, of different like nationalities, upbringings, professions, like where they started in life, what influenced, you know, them getting to where they are now, how they felt at certain points. And it's like hearing them talk candidly about their life from their own perspective and stuff. It's just like interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I'm a kind of guy who is not necessarily writing memoirs, but kind of keeping them in real time. That's what I call the Tombstone Project. I think one of my episodes of Weekly Waypoint a year or so ago is called that. That's where I decided to start doing this. I do still do it, mostly just in the form of my blog posts, but life stories are just like interesting to me. I would love to like, everyone says, oh, what superpower ability would you have? Would you have the ability to teleport or freeze time or fly or anything like that? And obviously I would choose one of those. But one that like nobody brings up is like just the ability to know someone when you see them, like have the ability to know their life story. To like, I don't know what form it would take, whether you would see it play out as like a movie or something, but I don't know, just the ability to like point at someone and like know their entire history and how they got to where they are now. Because something I'll always remember is there is, and this might seem like a left turn, but it's relevant. There is a drama series in the UK called Skins, which is about various teenagers and their lives, and every 2 seasons the cast changed. I watched seasons 1 to 4, so I watched 2 cast changes, and I didn't bother with season 5 to 6 because I was told not to bother. But season 7 they did something super interesting, and they went back and they did, I think it was either 2 or 3 episodes per character for like 3 different characters, and these episodes were just such a different tone to their original stories. And what really struck me most is like we're seeing these snippets of these people's lives. I remember thinking like, yeah, but what about everything that you went through a few years ago when you were in school, and like why don't you talk about these things? Or like, how come these 2 people who are interacting never reminisce about like the events of a show? And it's like, because you wouldn't, like, because that's just how life goes. Like, life just moves on, and it's such a good fucking depiction of the way life moves on and takes you to different places, and how like a few years gap like can change so many dynamics and change what normal is. And so that's something I think about when I listen to these life stories as well. Like, these moments from these people's lives were just like normality to someone at some point. I don't know if I'm phrasing it in a weird way. I'm guessing this is the kind of thing where if I was talking to a person face to face, they'd be nodding and going, oh yeah, I know what you mean, and where I'm going like, oh, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but yeah, it's just really, really interesting. There's that word again. Not just to like compare to my own life, but to like just know about a life lived. It also got me wanting to, and I could never pull this off because I'm not charismatic or successful enough, but like, because some of the guests David Tennant has on are famous people who I've never heard of, or maybe not never heard of, but like know very little about, they might as well be strangers. So it also got me thinking about like, what would be the issue with exactly the podcast he's doing, but with just ordinary people. So I just go around interviewing ordinary people about their lives and like, you know, what's going on in them, where they came from, how their lives have changed over time. I wonder if anyone's actually tried to do that already. But also like, I'm a sucker for like looking at something interesting and going, ooh, but what if the hook was it was the standard ordinary version of that? And obviously to a brand new listener, that's not much of a hook at all. I can see people looking at the episodes and going, I don't know who any of these people are. Why would I care about what's going on in their lives? I would certainly want to, but, you know, I don't know. I guess it's just interesting. I've been sat here wondering what to fill the last minute of this video with, so I think I'm just gonna shill my live stream. Hi, twitch.tv/Kritigri is where I live stream games and stuff. I've given the old VOD channel a bit of a facelift recently. I've sorted out some of the playlists, sorted out some of what's featured, and I'm having a lot of fun streaming lately. Again, I'm still having issues with, like, I streamed at 1080p last time and it was dropping some frames. It was mostly okay, but I don't know if it's that, you know, I'm still making compromises, but it's fun. I'm having fun. As I mentioned, streamed some Forza Horizon 5 recently, streamed some Crash Bandicoot 2 recently, and probably going to get back into streaming some Assassin's Creed soon. So if that sounds like a fun time to you, then there has never been a better time for you to go and follow that channel, or follow that Twitch channel and subscribe to that YouTube channel. But you don't have to. I'm not going to force you to. You could just stick around and watch me beat up this big, angry, evil man with a massive axe. I'm impressed with how fast Bayek's able to swing that massive great axe, I've got to say. It's like it's made of just cheese. Why cheese? I don't know. My brain was like cheese. I was like, I'm not going to say cheese. And then it just kind of came out because I couldn't think of a right word. Plastic? Paper? I don't know. Not cheese though. I would like to see a great axe made of cheese. I think that would be a damn good time. Wait, no, where are you going? No, I see you clicking off of this video. Don't do it. I've got to murder this guy because he's a slaver, so no mercy for the slaver. Bye. He doesn't have a face anymore. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please feel free to leave a like or leave a comment about any of the topics I discussed. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye! Oh no, I ended it too early. This is really embarrassing. I'm just kind of still here. Oh god.